Harvey and Donna were never a slow-burn romance. They were a one-way emotional contract the show spent years dressing up as fate. Donna kept the connection alive. Harvey decided when it was allowed to become real. That is the pattern the series actually shows, and it is harsher than the version most fans prefer to keep. The problem was never that they needed more time. The problem was who controlled the clock. Donna absorbed the cost of Harvey's distance across the entire arc. He only moved when the cost of staying closed finally exceeded the cost of opening up. Everything that follows is evidence of that long-term arrangement, not the fairy tale delay the audience wants to believe. Watch the early years without the romantic filter. Donna is the one who anticipates every crisis, contains the fallout, and keeps Harvey functional when he refuses to deal with himself. She does not simply support him, she makes his particular style of emotional absence workable. He never has to name what he needs because she has already supplied it. That is not partnership on equal terms. That is one person quietly subsidizing another person's isolation. The show frames it as chemistry. What it documents is Donna carrying weight. Harvey was never required to share. Now look at the recurring almost moments. Donna forces the conversation. She names the tension. Harvey answers with silence, deflection, or another closed office door. The audience is trained to read those near misses as delicious tension. In reality, they are enforcement. He keeps the emotional temperature exactly where he remains in charge of the next move. Every time she steps into someone else's orbit, the same pattern holds. Harvey's jealousy surfaces fast. Commitment does not. He can feel the threat of losing her. He still will not pay the price required to keep her on different terms. Those loops are not proof that love was always waiting in the wings. They are proof that he could register loss without ever risking the same exposure he expected from her. Inside the firm, the dependency turns structural. Every time Donna reaches a hard limit and steps away from his orbit, the building reacts like something essential has failed. Cases still move, partners still posture, but the quiet system that kept Harvey functional starts to seize. His panic is not abstract, it is operational. The person who absorbed the friction is gone, and the firm has no ready replacement for that specific service. A name partner can be hired. The person who made Harvey's private weather manageable across years cannot. That is the moment her loyalty stops looking like personal devotion and starts looking like load-bearing infrastructure the entire operation had been quietly standing on. When the relationship finally becomes official, the audience is conditioned to feel relief. What actually arrives is the psychological bill. Donna enters the romance already holding years of unanswered risk. Harvey enters it after the pressure became too high to ignore. The love is real, but the emotional starting lines were never the same. She has already lived the cost of waiting. He is only now paying the first real installment. That gap does not vanish with a confession or a shared title. It sits underneath every later scene between them, the knowledge that one of them carried the connection alone for far longer than the other was willing to admit. The payoff feels like resolution only if you stop looking at who reached it first and who arrived after the threat became undeniable. Harvey did not open the door because the time felt right. He opened it when the threat of permanent loss finally became impossible to manage. Donna reaching a visible personal limit, stopping the indefinite wait, refusing to keep translating his silence, was what forced the change. Harvey could sense the danger across the entire arc. He required the danger to become acute before he paid any emotional price of his own. That is the part most fans underweight. The eventual admission is remembered. The long requirement that the threat had to become existential before he would risk anything is remembered far less clearly. This was not romantic timing. It was sequential risks, with one person carrying almost all of it until the other finally ran out of safer options. Harvey and Donna's relationship was real. It was also bought at her expense for far too long. Donna kept the door open, while Harvey decided whether walking through it was worth the risk. He only moved when staying closed became more expensive than changing. The love that followed does not erase the years she spent carrying the weight alone. The show wants the destination celebrated. The record forces a harder question. Why did one of them have to walk so much farther before the other finally took a step? That is the part the slow burn story has always preferred you not examine too closely. If you want the same pressure applied to the Harvey Mike loyalty test that actually ran the firm, that breakdown is next.